Welcome to this new style weather update. This time I'm using Twitter, one of my Twitter accounts, and I'll begin by hoping that all of you have had a lovely Valentine's Day. And this is one of the tweets here, this one. And then we move on to this one, and this is about the situation of the fog and cold and calm giving way to wind, wet and rain, rain, heavy rain and strong winds. And then we have up here this brilliant sunshine that we had in the south of England on February the 15th, when temperatures rose into the high teens. Further north, however, the situation was changing very much. Very much it was changing. We then have this. Very windy weather will be affecting Scotland and northern England this Friday, with wind gusts reaching 60 to 70 miles per hour in places. The Met Office has issued a weather warning for Friday. The strength of these winds during this Friday are nearly strong enough for a named storm. Just to let you know, since then, the Danish Met Office have actually given it a storm, and here it is. Terrifying weather maps show 88 mile per hour storm Otto winds hitting the UK today. Terrifying, yes. As I'll show you in a little bit, what those 88 mile per hour gusts of winds can actually do. Powerful storm Otto has crossed Scotland and northern England today, and is soon going to add its storm force winds to Denmark and southern Norway, as well as southwestern Sweden later on. The storm has led to bridge closures on the Humber and affected ferry services, as it will do because it's hurricane force winds there in some parts. Many people like this storm by this stage. It's done enough damage. Storm Otto, this one is very interesting. Storm Otto is going to draw down a bitterly cold polar air mass later in the week, with high winds, freezing sub-zero temperatures and heavy and persistent snow forming into blizzards in Finland, Sweden and Latvia. Higher latitudinous regions will be coldest, so higher up there in Finland and higher up in where you would be in Latvia, the more northerly parts of those countries will be the coldest generally, and inland as well. It's terrible though. Blizzards and heavy snow could be a couple of feet of snow there in the places around Finland. And then we've got something up here to show you. First of all, before I get there, this area of low pressure will be moving eastwards from eastern Canada and Greenland, and shall be merging south of Iceland as a deep low pressure system on this Sunday, this weekend, which looks nasty with dangerous wind speeds. Fortunately, large Atlantic high pressure could force the storm northwards. Let's hope it does. I'll show you more about this as well. Let's get on to that destructive picture I wanted to show you from Storm Otto. Here it is. So we have this. Would anyone say that that's not destructive, or it doesn't merit a storm name, or is this as powerful as a hurricane? To me it does look as bad, and by the looks of that portion, I read about this as well in the news, that a lot of damage has been done there. Someone could have been killed, and that's just to show the strength of Storm Otto with those 80 mile per hour plus wind speeds in some places. The experts also said that we had 100 mile per hour wind speeds in the mountains, the Pennines and in Scotland, and that's hurricane strength 2 there, around about, I'm guessing. We have here thousands of households have been without electricity all day, as a ferocious storm of up to hurricane strength has caused widespread chaos in northern Britain. Storm Otto is bound for Denmark and Sweden today. That was on February the 17th, Friday, and will be responsible for terrible winter hazards later, such as in Sweden, as we've mentioned earlier, Latvia and Finland. Trains and ferries cancelled as the storm hits northern Europe. Yep, that's the ditto bit there. And then we've got this lovely gentleman here, and he's saying, Liam James, that we should be really paying more attention to these types of storms. And he's saying, just a small section of some of the damage and disruption caused by Storm Otto today on the Friday. Structural damage, power cuts, injuries, mature trees uprooting, as we saw below with the Porsche and the tree there laying in the road, completely blown over, and many roads blocked in some places. A notable storm. And then we've got this. Same guy. He said, how bad does a storm have to be these days? And he's responding to that, the Met Office, to name it. This is a pretty significant and disruptive windstorm. And then it made me think, yes, a high-sided vehicle's been blown over. This is substantial. He's got a great point here. Look, there's structural damage done there. This is looking like storm units. This is more like a hurricane than a storm. By convention, though, we don't call our storms hurricanes in the United Kingdom. The tempestuous and rough North Sea boats would have made some people feel very unwell. I guess they would, yes. Well, let's not go into that. It's evening time. And then we've got this new news. And this is this. This talk here. Here in the United Kingdom, this is today, it's relevant today. People are talking about the likelihood of yet another beast from the east arrival for March 2023. It is becoming more likely. That doesn't mean totally likely. It just means less likely. In other words, a little bit more likely that here a similar extremely cold winter event will happen. This March map computer run looks bitterly cold, as you can see. These north to northeasterly winds are associated with this huge area of high pressure, and this low pressure is situated over Sweden and northern Germany, dragging down some bitterly cold Siberian or Arctic or even Alaskan air. It could be coming over the Arctic. It's bitterly cold. If this actually happens, and it's just one run, but it's a GFS run, so it's just quite a bit of weight there at the moment, but it's only a third option. The other runs are not really going with something similar to that. But then we've got this, which is only a week away, and this is courtesy of the Weather Online. This map run is for Saturday next week. This setup will be a cold one with a rising chance of wintry precipitation from the east of the United Kingdom and southeast England, where we have this low pressure with the brisk winds moving across the North Sea. UK weather projection, because it's a week in advance. And if you like this, I'm an amateur meteorologist reading geographical statistics in terms of weather, e.g. Storm Otto, as we've been covering some of this damage from this storm recently. If you like the sounds of me, feel free to view my YouTube channel, which is half meteorology, journalism and forecasting and half dramatic trivial pursuits. May I add that the half dramatic trivial pursuits often have very little to do with meteorology and journalism, more about frustration and daily struggles. So that's and that's me, long time ago. Look. And you don't know how I look now, but anyway, I could give you a little tiny look. That's how I look now, old and mature. In any case, I wanted to show you, leave you on a good note, and that's this one. This, with clarity from the Met Office, is the sea surface pressure chart, and it begins today. It's very relevant and up to date. Spick and spans, great. Westerly winds over the United Kingdom. This bit here is Storm Otto. These winds are very strong. See the way it's drawing down these polar winds. This is corroborating the very fact that bitterly cold and wet airstream here is drawing down through Norway, Sweden. I mean, I say it's a good note. Sorry, it's probably not good at all, but it will be good if we can help these people before any winter hazards cut out electricity or even pose dangers to life. And I think with this storm is some real winter problems here. Look, drawing down from the North Pole on north to northwesterly winds, very strong winds, lots of occluded fronts, some heavy snow there, possibly up to a foot to 2 feet of snow will fall, and it will drift in places where it's breezy, such as here, Sweden and Norway and Latvia and parts of Finland. Then we've got to watch for ourselves these southwesterlies on Sunday, which will pick up a very brisk breeze, and this again quite blustery for us in the United Kingdom on Monday. Slightly less blustery in the south, maybe some sunny intervals. But then on Monday we head into Tuesday, staying on the very mild side, less blustery later on Monday. We've still got this low pressure over Scandinavia and this easterly influence over northern Scandinavia from Russia. So it's going to be bitterly cold here with these easterlies. We've really got to keep an eye. I mean, it's late February, but it looks like we're going to have one of these archetypal winter drone, the groaning March condition, such as what we had in 2018. We've really got to watch this. Will it be bitterly cold? Will it be just cold, dry, foggy and frosty? Or will it return to being mild, wet and windy after next week's anticipated cold spell? So please search around, look around, and tell your neighbours, tell your friends, is it going to be cold? How do you stay safe in cold weather? If you need to know any more about that, on this site up here, find a forecast. You can look at Learn About here, the Met Office. You can look at past UK weather events. That's one way to work out. Compare it, such as we've got going down here, I'm sure it is, the late February to early March cold spell, and see, as we read, we'll see that the dangers it posed, and then it will enlighten us on the conditions we need to avoid, and how also to look at this site, which at the moment I'm not doing great. Snow and low temperatures February to March. So we're up against this. This was the last extreme winter phenomenon of great levity that caused severe disruption across the United Kingdom and Ireland. I don't know if we'll get this, but it's looking plausible. About a 50% chance we'll have something similarly as bad, comparable at least. So I think I'll leave it open there. I hope you like what I've been saying. It's my first demo run, my first debut run. So thank you for this Twitter feed, plus this analysis from the other Met Office sites and the Met Office itself. Thank you. I hope you enjoy this weekend and prepare for the cold weather. It's not yet over. The winter is continuing. It does not officially end if you're in terms of sunlight until middle of March, when we enter the equinox. So we're not through with winter yet, especially with the sudden stratospheric warming. Please be aware of this. God bless you all, whatever, be happy, whatever religion, and have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.